Pirtle Squad, welcome back. We are here reacting to day one of the NFL draft. First round picks are in. I do have a wedding this weekend, so you will not see my full reaction probably until Monday, maybe Tuesday even. But yeah, we're gonna sit here react to round one. Maybe at the end we'll talk about what we think is gonna happen rounds 2 and 3, and yeah, we'll see. So round one, it was pretty basic for a while, and then just turned on his head. It was pretty wild there for a little bit. I think a lot of teams did really well. So when I'm going through these grades, no, I'm not an expert on drafts. I do have an idea of team needs and that kind of thing. No expert, but we will give our thoughts here. We know more about some than others, but I do think I really do think like it wasn't for the most part. There are a few teams that did some questionable things. For the most part, I think it was great. These grades are going to be more so based on what could have happened, like what should have happened, what I think should have happened, what I think they should have done, rather than the actual player themselves. That's going to factor into it, but just not as much as what I think. We'll start out. It's pretty easy. Bears, they get an A for drafting Caleb Williams. I mean, that's what they have to do. Is what they're expected to do. It's the only answer here. I think he's clear and the best quarterback in this draft. I think there are concerns for him as a pro, but I think his talent trumps those concerns, and he could be great. Could be a great quarterback for the Bears finally. And yeah, we'll talk more about them in a little bit here. Washington going Jaden Daniels. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Jaden Daniels. Just a bunch of late production, and I just don't know. I gave him a B plus. I felt like I wanted May a little bit more, but Jaden Daniels does have the huge upside, has a rushing upside as well. I'm gonna give him a B plus. They obviously need a quarterback. I think it's a pretty good situation. I think it's a good situation for Jaden Daniels. We'll see how it pans out. The Pats at 3. I originally gave them an A. I'm going to drop that to a B plus. No, I'm going to drop it to an A minus. I think whatever quarterback was left of May and Daniels, they had to take. That's why I'm giving it more than Daniels necessarily. I don't know who's going to be the better quarterback. I really don't. I think he fits, the Patriot mold, even though Belichick is gone. Feels like it's right up their alley, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, so I'm going to give him an A minus. Cardinals, I think that's an easy A. Marvin Harrison Jr. has been touted as the best receiving prospect since like Randy Moss or whatever. I've seen some doubts about him here and there. And honestly, I watched some of the Ohio State games, and he was really good. But it didn't eye pop at me as like, oh, this is the best, But did have some bad quarterback play. But I'm gonna give him an A. I think it's clear that had to be the pick. So yeah, Joe Alt for the Chargers. I gave it a B plus because I really do like Joe Alt. And to be honest with you, so I saw a stat the other day that was like ranking hit rates on first round picks by position, and any offensive line position was by far and away, or was easily the best. Tackles was second behind centers, and then it was guards. So really, they needed to go receiver, but this is the safer pick, I believe. And I think Joe Alt's going to be a great player. I think he's going to be a long-term starter. I don't hate the pick. They have no wide receivers. So I think they probably should have went Neighbors. I think Neighbors is a great prospect. Could even be better than Marvin Harrison. I don't think he will be, but he could. So the fact they passed on wide receiver is pretty crazy. but I do think Joe Alt is a good pick still. It's a safer pick. I think he's going to be a long-time starter. So I gave him a B+. I don't hate it. I think they should win a receiver. 6, New York Giants, I think, cleared away. They had to go receiver, and Neighbors was still available, so they went Neighbors. I like it. I like it a lot. Good for them. And I think it's a good pick for them. And number 7, we got the Titans going J.C. Latham from Alabama. I gave them an A. I selfishly, as I have Will Levis on the Dynasty, I really wanted them to go Bowers or Rome right here. Definitely because I will be in that range to pick them in my Dynasty rookie draft. So having that pair would have been cool. But I think this is probably the better pick overall. I think it's a good pick for him. I think Latham's going to be great. So, so far, nothing crazy. I pretty good grades. Then what the frick are the Falcons doing? What are you doing? You just signed Kirk to 4 years, $100 million guaranteed, I think. 180, I think total, whatever it is. It's ridiculous. And then you draft Penix at 8. Now here's the deal. I actually like Penix a lot. I do. I don't like him at 8. I really don't. I don't think he's that good. I think he's an old potential prospect project. So that makes it hard, man. It makes it hard. I like him, but that is a reach. That is a reach. I don't know what else to say. It's a massive reach. It did make sense to me. I do understand they kind of have to start thinking about a quarterback after Kirk Cousins because he's old and coming off an Achilles. But, man, this felt like such a reach to me. But, whatever, man. Yeah, whatever. Gets back. I think the Bears crushed it. They go Rome, still available at 9 to pair with what an offense with Caleb Williams, Swift, now Rome, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. The offense is stacked. Bears cannot mess this up. They might, but I would assume they don't. I think that's a great pick. Probably an A+. I gave him an A. J.J. McCarthy, 10. I don't really like J.J. McCarthy, so I gave it an A-. I just don't think he's going to be great. I think his ceiling's kind of low. But I love the way the Falcons played this. They call the bluffs. Our teams are like, oh, like people are calling us. They want to move up. They really want JJ. They're like, no, they don't. And they didn't. They were at 11. They traded up. They switched with the Jets, just outbid the Broncos, I would assume, for JJ. And they got him. They got their guy. So JJ to JJ will be a thing this year, and that'll be fun to watch. I just don't think he's great. I give him A-. Whatever. The Jets gave it B. Okay pick. I think it'd be an okay player. I think there's some better tackles potentially available. Yeah. 12, another reach to me. Bo Nix. I was never in love with really any of the quarterbacks this year. I don't think any of them are like surefire things, except for maybe Caleb Williams. I think has like a huge potential, but the fact that 6 of them went already. Anyway, I gave them a C. Right, where'd it go? 12, C. Yeah, gave him a C here. I kind of do like Bo Nix. I know he's kind of got that build. He's a lot of experience. But he's an older quarterback, an older prospect again, and I don't know. I think he could have went Brock Bowers, who I think could be generational. Could have filled some other needs on defense. I don't know. I feel like it's a reach, but I've been told that if you're convicted of quarterback, you have to take him. I may look back at this and eat my words. 13 is going to be a little bit controversial. I gave him an A+ because I freaking love Brock Bowers, and I'm a tight end, played tight end in college. Love Brock Bowers. I think he could be generational. I don't know. I gave him an A+, probably not an A+. They needed to trade up and get a quarterback, to be honest. They really did. They needed to, Yeah, that was their need. They needed to trade him and get a quarterback badly. Didn't do that. Got Brock Bowers. I think Minshew is a perfect bridge quarterback, to be honest, but that's not a great landing spot for Brock Bowers. I do hate that. Like, it's just not a good offense. But I do think that's a great pick. So, 14, I gave them an A minus. Saints are on the longest streak of drafting offensive players, which is crazy. I think I'm not going to try to say, but I think he will be a good offensive tackle in the league. Physically, he's gifted there. Dominant force in the run game. I just, so A minus. I think it's the right pick. They didn't reach for anything. They didn't make anything crazy, so I don't hate it. 15. Latu, whatever. Out of UCLA, edge rusher. I gave him a B. Not because of the talent. I think he's a great talent. He's an explosive athlete and whatnot, but he was forced to injury retire, and then he came out and transferred to UCLA and then had 2 great years. I think the injury concerns, the only reason I give this a B. I think as a player and as a talent, I think he's up there, but I think it could backfire if those injuries come back to bite him. 16, Byron Murphy, out of Texas, goes to Seattle. Great pick. Give it an A. Not much to say. 17, Dallas Turner. I think the Vikings played this well. I gave him a B plus, just because they've kind of mortgaged any of their mid-round picks for the next 2 years. But I think Dallas Turner is a great player. I think he could have problems with just being kind of an average size edge, but I think he's explosive. Played at Bama, got the job done. I think he'll be a solid NFL player. So I gave him a B plus. 18. The Bengals. Marius Mims. Gave him a C. He has some injury concerns, didn't have a whole lot of snaps, and lacks quickness. And I really felt selfish. This could be a selfish grade too. Why I gave him a C. I really wanted Brian Thomas or any of the freaking receivers to help Joe Burrow as a fantasy Joe Burrow. He's my quarterback in my dynasty, but this is not a bad pick. I just don't feel like it was a great pick, so I gave it a C. It's a pretty bad pick, honestly, in my opinion. But who am I? I am just a guy with the random podcast. 19, Jared Verse. I think this is a great pick for the Rams. Beefing up the D line. Good edge rusher. I think he fell a little bit due to the massive quarterback picks. Also, there wasn't a defensive player selected until 15, which is crazy. Yeah, so I think they waited it out, got who they wanted. I think they crushed their first round pick, and I don't know when, since 2016. Yeah, 2016 we drafted Jared Goff. 20, Troy Fontanu. I don't even know. 20, I gave him an A. I think he's a great tackle. I've only seen great things about him. I think he fell a little bit compared to what he's projected, but I think it's a good pick for them. 21, Chop Robinson, B minus. Didn't have great projection in college, only 11.5 sacks. Just felt like a reach because they needed to fill that position. So felt like a little bit of a reach to me. 22, gave him an A. First DB off the board. A high regards from Nick Saban, saying that they wanted him out of the portal, and he never went into the portal. Out of Toledo, but great player. Brian Thomas, 23, gave him an A. Didn't even think about it, gave it an A. Good pick for the Jags. Good situation for him to go to. I think he'll be good. Terry and Arnold, 24, to the Lions. I gave it a B minus because I think he just gave up too much. He gave up too much to move up 5 spots. He potentially could have been there at 29, but even not. They got Nate Wiggins, and he had options that you could have waited on. I don't think giving up the 73rd pick was worth it. But that was their guy. They got him. Whatever. 25. B. Honestly, don't know a lot about him. What I do know, what I've read, struggles with power rushers, and there's a bunch of other positions in need available. They need to go DB. They need to fill some other positions. So I just thought they could have done better. 26. Center, I gave him an A. Didn't even look at it. Don't know nothing about Graham Barton. I will admit, don't know a single thing. But that stat that I mentioned the other day, there's 92% hit rate of centers between 2000 and 2019. Now, hit rate means they signed a second contract with the team that drafted them in the first round. Center seems like a safe pick. It's far and away the best. There's only 12, but A plus A. Let's go A. Didn't even think of it. Don't know nothing about him. Darius Robinson of Missouri, 27. I gave them an A. Honestly, don't know enough about him, to be honest. I think I played against him, to be honest, but I don't know. Xavier Worthy, 28 to the Chiefs. I gave them an A plus 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 plus. What are the Bills doing? What are they doing? This team, the only thing that you had on the Chiefs was they just lacked receivers. And you now lack receivers. And you're trading your pick to the Chiefs because you need receivers, and then you let the Chiefs get the receiver they needed. Now, I don't love Xavier Worthy. I think he's kind of small, but 4-2-1 in this Chiefs offense, I think he's a perfect fit for him. A plus 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 29. Tyler Guyton gave an A. The Cowboys have a history of drafting good linemen. They just do. I think he fits well. They really need an offensive lineman after losing Tyron Smith. I think he can step in there day one and get the job done. Nate Wiggins, I gave a B. I gave him a B plus. I said I like him, but they needed a tackle. I felt more. Ricky Pearsall out of Florida, I gave him a B plus for San Francisco. I think they needed a receiver. There's a lot of questions about Ayuk and even Samuel. So, and then Xavier Legette, gave him a C. 1 year production. No, I personally like Mitchell over them. I don't think he's great. I just don't not enough there for me to give him a C. This has already been 17 minutes, so I'll quickly talk about what I think is going to happen on day 2. Buffalo does have the 33rd pick. I think they finally go freaking receiver. I think they do get Adonai Mitchell, which I think is good. I think, honestly, as much as we're trashing him and stuff, I think he's a great player, and I think it's a good pick. I think the Patriots go receiver. 34 with Troy Franklin. And then I'm just trying to look. Yeah, anything I have that I think worth mentioning. I think finally Cooper DeJean, white cornerback, comes off the board at 40. You knew they weren't going to let a white corner go in the first round. That's crazy. I think Washington gets them at 40. I think that would be a good pick for them. Another receiver, I think Keon Coleman to the Saints at 45 is realistic. I really like Keon Coleman pre-draft process. I think it's probably a good pick as they tread water. They really need to find a quarterback. But right now, they tread water. I know the Cowboys need a running back. As a Cowboys fan, I know they need a running back. Jonathan Brooks will probably not be available to them in their selection, but I think they will go a running back. Which one? I don't know. I would like to see Trey Benson. I wouldn't mind Blake Corum, but definitely not my first pick. To be honest, I think Trey Benson is a chance. I think that helps Dynasty. I think if you're drafting a running back, you draft Trey Benson because the Cowboys have no running backs. So, anything else in here I see worth mentioning for day 2? Cincinnati, I think they could. I know T. Higgins did request a trade. Now he's requesting a trade again. I think Ladd McConkey is a solid player. I don't think he's going to be a great pro. I think he'd be a good pro. I think he'd be a good slot. I would love to see them. I have Joe Burrow, as I mentioned in fantasy. I'd love to see them draft Ladd McConkey. Anything else I'd love to mention here? Here's the day. I don't know why I'm saying that. There's a chance Chargers go back-to-back Michigan prospects and Roman Wilson in round 2, and if Blake Corum falls to round 3 here, I think they could grab him. That would be kind of funny. I think that's worth mentioning here. And yeah, I think that's it. There's a lot of good players. It's kind of a flat draft. I think it's pretty deep. I don't think anybody's going to be great, to be honest. But a lot of good players still out there. Probably won't get to watch round 2. I'll probably have to recap as I'll be traveling for a wedding and bachelor party and stuff. Pretty busy weekend, but hope you enjoyed this. Again, not a draft prospect. A lot of this is research since last night, and just how I feel. Like it, don't like it, whatever. Let me know.